Hi guys, one more time here, and I want to talk about GVG defenses setup and what fighters you should consider, or if you have the choice, level up and use. So let's start with Salazar. So the great thing with Salazar on GVG defense system is his ult. His ult covers a massive AoE arena, so he will be able to clear many small creeps, burst the boss down, and also he has the blessing of Dragon Blood. So every 7 crit hits landed, he restores HP. Its skill ups, it goes down to 5 crit hits, so that's perfect for self-sustain and surviving the mage poke or archer poking him. Also, Volca is an interesting choice. If you give her the Soul Drainer, she might actually be pretty good for this content, since she would be able to block 3 enemies and cleave every one of them with her auto attack. Bloodsword, not that important, Midnight Requiem and other stuff is nice, and maybe if you're running a fighter heavy team, she can keep them healthy and not die to some random mage or fighter damage. Then I think Zillitu will be absolutely amazing, simply for her massive 9 tile range and her single target magic damage. Basically her ability to quickly dispatch of enemy tanks, which usually have massive armor and I think only A in magic resist. So she will kill them quickly with her ult and basically win you the round. Next on the list is Valkyria is a decent choice, but depends, I guess. She deals decent damage, AoE magic damage, revives the tank if he ever dies, so yeah, not a bad choice, but if you have the option, I wouldn't use her. And my favorite unit for GVG is probably Arrogance, for his massive range, insane ultimate damage with AoE and burning, his Infernal Feast that deals AoE damage around him, and his Devil's Dance when he double attacks enemies that are closer to him, basically nearly instantly killing small stuff or quickly killing fighters or any tanks that approach your lineup. A-Bomb is actually, in my opinion, really good fighter for GVG defense, because he, after he ults, gets the double 2 tile range attack that hits multiple times and applies burn, and with a Soul Drainer he could block up to 3 enemies, and with Olag that would be 7, with Olag's Vault that would be 7, so you can passively block 7 enemies and AoE smash them down basically. Lugaru and also Valeria might be a good chaos option, but I think problem with those two is you have to run a tank basically. If you don't run a tank, they will probably die to some damage because they damage themselves a lot. But Lugaru also brings his 2 tile range, which is huge, but he basically kills himself pretty quickly, so yeah, that might be an issue. I don't know about Apsan, he deals physical damage, some AoE, some piercing javelins, but the enemy tanks have so much armor, he will probably just tickle them and they will use his spear as toothpicks. And yeah, it's just Apsan. If you have him, I'm sorry. So, Valeria is an amazing fighter for this content, simply for her burst, which comes from her ultimate, and unyielding state, so she will buff herself insanely and then decimate enemies with her auto attack or plunging slash, and meanwhile healing herself if she manages to survive. So she's a great unit, but be careful with her ultimate, since she kills herself every auto she gets to do, and she is unhealable during her ult. I thought about Cerberus, and I think he might be really good, because if your opponent is able to kill your Cerberus, he will do the pound of Spectre, pound, and kill every small unit in it, dealing magic damage. He will quickly dispatch probably of any tanks and even every small spider or small dog. So yeah, Cerberus is a great choice in my opinion, but depends. I don't have him, I can test him, but if you have him, I would suggest trying him. Also, if you by any luck pulled Giselle, I think she might be quite useful for her Whirlwind Edge. AoE massive damage in around her, but depends. She deals attack damage or standard damage, so depends how quickly she deals damage. Her cost is low and her damage output outside of her ultimate is a bit on the lower side. Honorable mention is also Wrath. Simply everyone gets him, he deals a shit ton of damage single target, and he also is able to hit multiple enemies when his ult procs. Plus, if you put a Soul Drainer on him, he will be able to decimate 3 enemies at once with his... let me find it. I swear there is a Talendor skill for Wrath where he hits 3 targets at once, but I'm blind or something and I can't find it, so let's move on. Even Scorch might be good if you're running out of options. For his 2-tile range, AoE magic damage, an increased attack in battle, he is not the best choice by any means, but he's there and he deals AoE damage, which is kinda useful when enemies are having the double S in attack, in defense. Also, Astrid could be a valuable asset for your defense team. For her Blade Storm triggers when her Blade Storm is used. Every attack becomes AoE, and also she has the crack talent or skill, so she will defense reduction by 30%, which is pretty huge. So yeah, and also maybe Junkar might be useful. Also with Soul Drainer, kicking his defense, his block value up to 4 enemies, and him cursing them, then them not being able to attack should be pretty nice. And also this is still bugged. I found this maybe a month or 2 ago, and as you can see, he's cutting his own ankle. It's kinda funny. So yeah guys, that's probably it from the fighter tree. Hopefully you enjoyed, learned something or whatever. This was one more time signing out.